Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm not exactly quite sure what it is that we're doing here, but it's a glorious occasion, and I love the word occasion because it's really a fancy way of saying right now. And so I'm a big fan of right now because right now is all we got. So here we are. So let's roll with it. I would suggest that we take this opportunity right now because we can. Let's discuss the meaning of all of this. Let's discuss the meaning of life in general. Because let's face it, things are a little cattywampus. Things are a little strange, and it seems to be getting stranger all the time, which can be good and can be bad because we are finding all the crazy conspiracy theorists people are in fact correct. The National Enquirer actually has had it correct all these years, we are finding, because this world has absolutely gone out of its freaking mind. And I think it is glorious. I love it. The fact that we are debating whether or not the earth is flat or round, awesome. The fact that there's people taking dewormers. People are taking dewormers, human beings taking medicine for their dog to deworm themselves. They are deworming themselves. And you say that's absolutely insane. And I would say that's insane too, except for it's working. I mean, everything. This is a glorious time to be alive because nothing is making sense at all. Everything we've been taught has been pretty much made up fiction, and so now we're learning all this other stuff, and we're like, well, how do we trust all this stuff that's going on when all the stuff that we've been taught before apparently is wrong too? How do we know the new stuff that we're being taught is also not wrong? Well, we don't know. It could all be wrong, and all you can do is sit back and enjoy the show. That's what I'm saying. I might try the dewormer thing. It's just the people are pooping out weird things, which sometimes your poops get boring after a while, and so if you can start pooping out worms, that's that's kind of fun. I mean, let's face it, life is boring or has been boring, and now all of a sudden, because we were kind of lulled into this false sense of security and this deep sleep, and we were all just milling about doing nothing of any great importance. And now everything, the rules are they're just getting thrown out, and it is, man, it's awesome. You gotta just thoroughly enjoy this time to be alive. This is freaking cool. This is freaking cool, and you really have to ask yourself, what is all this about? Because really, it comes down to two questions: is there a purpose in being alive? And two, well, that's pretty much it. It's just that one. I think it's so. But there's two ways to look at this. Okay, so you got that there is a purpose to meaning in life, and that is prescribed by a God person. All right, so you got the God person. I'm a big fan of the God person. Not necessarily of I'm so concerned about there being a heaven, but I just like the idea. I like the idea of hell. I mean, I like the idea that there is a place where certain people are going to rot throughout eternity in the never quenching flames of eternal damnation. Just brings a lot of joy to my Christian heart. I digress. But so here we go. So here we are. So there's a God person, and God says, "Hey, look, I got all these ideas. I kind of want to play them out. I want to say, well, let's put together a world. Let's put together an Earth. Let's put together a world, right? And then we're going to throw all these people in it, and we're just gonna just see what happens. It's going to be weird. There's going to be earthquakes and fires, and then people are going to we're going to throw them all together. We're going to see what happens. And so the God person says, let's throw them all together and see what happens. And then some people are like, okay, so God's kind of in a weird position because he's like, okay, I'm going to give you free will, so you can go do whatever you want. but at the same time, you're going to get judged for your free will. So you got free will, but you're going to get judged for your free will. So if you know for sure there's a God person, then you go, okay, well then you don't really have free will, because then you'd know, well, I just got to do what the God person says, and then good. So God's got to like, okay, so God's like, okay, we're going to create a world where everybody's got free will, so they can live their life with or without me. They can just they don't have to have me. They can just life don't have me, and then they have life or without. But I'm always there. But if they don't talk, if they don't want me, then I'm not gonna button into the business. So you got the God. Okay, so you got the God person, and he says, okay, go. And then we're all just going to show up here, and we have no idea what we're doing. And then somebody says, well, maybe somebody starts talking to God and goes, oh, somebody wants to chat. And then God shows up and says, hey, so what do you want to know? And then they're like, what are we here for? And then God says, oh, you just be nice to each other and work things out, and be full of love, and then fight against evil and all that stuff. And then somebody writes it down, and then he tells it to people, and then other people are like, well, that's pretty cool. So what God is saying is we got to go and kill everybody that's not like us. And then some of the people are like, how'd you get that from what I thought God said we should love each other and work things out and learn how to. Well, yeah, God said you got to defend evil. Well, I don't think that just defining everybody else as evil. Well, if they're not with God, then they're not with us, and if they're not with us, then they're evil. So we should destroy them, because that's what a loving God would want us to do. And then we're all kind of, a lot of us are kind of like, I don't. How do we? I don't see how we got there in that one. Okay, so you got that part of the things going on, right? And then other people are just like, hey, I like people. I'm gonna be nice to people. And then you got the other idea is that there's no God at all. That this is just we're just making this up. We have no idea what we're here for. There's no real purpose. There's just a whole bunch of. There's a lot of weird, happy accidents that happen. All of a sudden, boom! Here we are, conscientious, sentient beings, and let's figure this all out. And there's no point to any of it, or there is a point to all of it. But when it comes right down to it, it all means the same thing, because you could live your life with no meaning, purpose at all whatsoever, and you'd be very happy, like like people in Norway seem to have, in Iceland, they don't seem to be really they don't seem to have an agenda, and they're just kind of in existence. So which is nothing against Norwegians. They're pretty cool people. I like them. Icelandic people. They don't seem to be trying to invade anybody. That's what I'm saying. Is they're just kind of like, hey, here we are. We're like fish and stuff. It's a pretty cool thing. Unless you're a fish, but that's another story. So anyway, so here we are. So what is the purpose of meaning of life? Well, if you believe in the God person, then the God person is saying, hey, your purpose, there is purpose, meaning, but you figure it out. Here's the gift. And I'm giving you a whole world and a planet and a whole bunch of other people, and you all just kind of work it out amongst yourselves, and you find purpose, meaning yourself, and when you get done, we'll talk about it. Okay, so there's that idea, and then, but then of course, if there is no God person, here we are. Then pretty much, well, we still just got to find a purpose and meaning of our lives anyway, or you just have no purpose and meaning, which is a purpose and meaning. You could have your purpose and meaning is to just exist doing what you're doing, and then you fill out you're just doing stuff, and then other people are doing stuff, and then we just that's just kind of life, and then but no one's keeping a record, so it doesn't really matter. So what I'm saying is that so life is whatever you decide it is, which can be troubling. Because then a lot of us want to make it more difficult than that. Because if it's difficult, if we say, oh, we got to do all this, you got to hike the Himalayas and talk to a wise man, and then go to Peru and Costa Rica and take a drug from somebody that you've never met and just sort of trust that they're not going to kill you, or you hang out and start hallucinating for 4 or 5 days and then throw up a lot and then come out just really confused more than what you went in, and then but it was a great experience, and then you have to say, oh yeah, it was this deeply emotionally satisfying experience, and most people just come out going, I have no idea what happened. I just sort of saw a lot of stuff, and I had a lot of nap, and then I woke up, and I was $5,000 less in my bank account for the experience, and I probably just stayed home and got on one of those tilt-a-whirls and got my head, all candy-wampus and. Or like that game, where you get that game, you put a bat, and then you run around the bat, and then you try to run someplace, you get all dizzy. You just do that, save you a lot of money in the trip. So we're all searching for the meaning of all this, and then what we end up finding is. Well, we just end up just getting kind of disappointed. And then when you just realize, hey, just make your own life. Just do your own thing, And then, but then that puts a lot of responsibility for you to just kind of figure out your own self and do something with yourself. And it's easier a lot of times when somebody says, hey, I know what to do. And then people go, hey, if I just follow them, then I don't have to think about something on my own. I can just do whatever they're doing. And then people start groups and stuff, and then we get a lot of weird people doing a lot of weird stuff because they think, well, this guy knows what he's talking about, and then everybody's like, okay, let's go do what he's doing because it sounds better what I was doing because I wasn't doing anything because I couldn't come up with anything. So if they come up with something, they seem pretty confident in it, I'll just go do that. And that's why people do crazy things, because people are like, how can anybody believe that nonsense? Well, because everything's nonsense. That's kind of the point. Is no matter where you go, what you do, and you start looking at stuff, it's all nonsense. All of it is not. It's insanity. It's crazy. And so here we go. We're just trying to figure. So what? We have no idea. So we don't know really why we're here. And then every time we learn something, we find out that that's not what the case was anyway. Or if we do, what information we do get, it's probably come from somebody who was trying to control and manipulate us in the first place. And then they create counter information because they're really good at the counter information because so there's a lot. Okay, so I have no idea what we're doing, and so if you're just enjoying yourself and you're being a good person to everybody around you, that's pretty cool. And then when you see people that aren't doing so cool stuff, you can do stuff to stop them from doing the not so cool stuff, because there's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff that's not so cool, and it would be cool if we could all get together and stop those people from doing that stuff, because they figured out a long time ago that they could just do whatever they want if they run everything and they are in control of everybody else. They can do whatever they want, and then everybody else is just milling about going, I don't know what I'm doing. And so because you're not paying attention to what's going on, they're doing whatever they want to do, and then you're not getting to do what you want to do because they're controlling everything that's going on. So I'm not saying we ignore stuff. We just need to be aware of what the stuff's going on, and that we don't necessarily know all the stuff that's going on. And it'd be pretty cool if we could know all the stuff that's going on. But so here we are. So how do you deal with all this stuff? Well, first of all, people who want to control you and make you do things you don't want to do, they're usually trying to scare you because you're always scared of getting hurt. But at the same time, you're always looking to feel good. So like we're always everything. You're always trying to avoid being hurt or pain, and then you're always trying to get stuff. You're always trying to have pleasant experiences. So you're trying to stay away from negative experiences, and then get positive experiences. All right, and then but you're more feared of getting negative experiences that you can just go. You'll give up on stuff to do the negative stuff, to not have the negative stuff in your life, and so you want positive stuff. So you're doing so. Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, so here's the deal. We have okay. Okay, are you following me? All right. So okay, here. Okay, so you got people. The people figured out a long time ago that nobody knows what's going on, so if they just pretend that they know what's going on, then everybody will go, okay, well, if you know what's going on, you seem like a nice person, I'll just go along with you. And then those people are like, oh, look, hey, we got power and control, we can do whatever we want. And then they start using the power and control, and they're like, hey, how far can we take this? And then they realize they can take it pretty far. And then here we are, we're all just sort of milling about, and while these other people are doing all this other stuff that's kind of horrible, and then we're just milling about, and we think we're pretty good people, but they're doing stuff behind our back, and we don't. So what? Okay, so there's no way that you can know everything. Okay, so you gotta ask yourself, okay, so how does this all apply to me? Okay, so you gotta consider that, first of all, none of this, you don't take any of this personally. Because if you get all personal and get emotional, that's how they control and manipulate you, is through your feelings. It make you feel bad, or try to make you feel good about doing stuff that you think is good, and it's not really all that good because they're just trying to get you to do that stuff because they're making money off of you and stuff. So when you learn, hey, people are doing stuff that's not necessarily in my best interest, and they're doing things to make me do those things, then you stop doing those things. I think I just confused myself. Okay, so what I'm saying is, life is a big, just a big fun ride, and there's a lot of horrible things in this world, and some of the stuff you can do stuff about. And if you can stop stuff from happening, if you can stop horrible stuff and be a part of stopping the horrible stuff, that's awesome. But there's also a lot of great stuff, and there's a lot of good people out there, and you can just go out and enjoy yourself. And if you don't have any control over stuff, and well, then you shouldn't be upset about the stuff you don't have any control over. The stuff you do have control over, which is you and your thoughts and your thinking, and if you control what you're thinking, well, then guess what? You can be happy, even though even though everything's horrible, and you're feeling horrible and terrible things, but you're not the one doing the terrible things. But if you could stop the terrible things, you would stop the terrible things. But you might as well enjoy yourself with what you got, with when you have it, because just be grateful that you got what you got, and do your best with it, and stay focused. And then fighting the bad guys is actually it's pretty fun. But you got to have yourself ready to go do the stuff. So you got to figure, because we don't know everything. Because Nikola Tesla, he figured it all out. He figured out a bunch of stuff. But here's the problem: once you figure out stuff and you start telling people about that you know stuff, then they come to you and they say, hey, you shouldn't be telling people this. And you're like, well, this is good stuff. And they're like, yeah, but it's our stuff. We don't want anybody to have that stuff. And you're going, what's wrong with everybody else having the stuff? And they're like, well, because it's our stuff and we don't want those people to have our stuff. And so what I'm trying to say is we don't have any control over any of this. And so just sort of pick a lane and do your thing. Enjoy yourself. Fight the system where you can, but just know the system has been doing this for a real long time. And We gotta get smarter and get together. So find yourself pull yourself together. You just got to figure out that don't take any of this personally. Don't get emotionally involved. Most of the stuff, take it for what it's worth, and know that most of it is being made up by everybody else, and we have no idea what we're doing, and so we just have a good time with it anyway. Okay. So okay, so that's it. Okay, bye. See you around and stuff.